Welcome back to the program. Our good friend, the privacy professor, Rebecca Herold is here. And there's a lot of people talking about this whole iPhone deal that is happening. You've seen it in the news. We're going to try to make heads or tails of it right now, what is going on and why it's so complex.
Yes.
Now, this all started when the government wanted access to someone's phone to get some records off it, and Apple said, no, we can't do that.
Well, and I think it's important to look at the facts around the situation that led to where we're at this point in time. So we're dealing with a very emotional situation. We had terrorists who killed a lot of people, and they want to get all the data that they can.
Yeah, it was their phone.
We're talking about the San Bernardino shooting.
The San Bernardino shootings. So what needs to be known is the terrorist had many different types of computing devices. The phone that they want is the phone that was issued to them by their employer. They also had their own personal phones that they threw in the lake, and they also had computers. So the government, the FBI, has gotten that data. Now, some of it was destroyed by water, but still, they've gotten all that data, plus they have the data from the phone in question from the point in time where it was last backed up to the iCloud in mid-October. So there's just a small, about a month or so, a little over a month's time of time when data might have been added to a work phone, not a personal phone. That's an important point that they want to get to. Now, what do they have from that point in time that they can't see on the phone itself? They have the metadata. Metadata can tell you a lot. The metadata can actually show them who they've been communicating with during that time that they say they need that data.
Right.
And they've looked at that metadata. And you know, I've combed through, there's thousands of reports out there about this now. And from what I found, they're saying that that metadata is not pointing to anything that would give them additional information. And also, given the fact that most people's work phones now are used differently than your own personal phone, it's telling me, you know, we need to do a risk analysis. What do we need to do? Do we really need to get more data from a phone that metadata isn't pointing to the need to break? And also, where's the additional data that may be with the employer that might be related to that? If it was used for work, most businesses now, when they issue phones to their employees, there's a certain amount of backing up and also logging of activity. And another key point is, why didn't the terrorists try to destroy that phone as well when they went to lengths to try to destroy these other devices and other computing systems? So, you know, that's an important big picture to think about. Now, what are they being asked for? What is Apple being asked for? Because when you hear it in sound bites, they're saying, well, we want the code. That's what's being demanded from them. We want the code.
Like the back door to get into an Apple device.
So what does that sound like?
And some people, it sounds like you need access to that phone. So just give me the code that will get us into that one particular phone and look at that one particular phone.
They do have a subpoena for the phone.
They have and the phone is fine. But when you hear the word code, what do you think of? Maybe a
password.
Yes. What they're actually demanding is that they engineer a completely new system that will go into this system on this phone, which there's probably around, and my research shows maybe 10 to 12 million other systems like this phone.
Okay.
They want to engineer a new system that will go in and be able to break the security that has been built into the system that's running this phone. So I think on the surface you hear, well, it's only one phone, and you hear that from a lot of the investigators and the politicians. Yes, it's only one phone, but you have to consider that that one phone has an operating system that was created with great security, and we need security because we're having more breaches all the time. Think of it, our smartphone is an extension of our personal self. We have more data that's being collected on that phone that we even realize, and not only of us, but also of the people around us, our family, our friends in the vicinity. So these phones are collecting a lot of data, so we need that security. So what's being demanded isn't just a PIN, it's not just a password, it's telling to Apple, we want you to build a brand new system that will be able to break the system that you built to be very secure. And that's
technically right now does not exist.
It does not exist.
So would this affect the phones that are already in use, or anything further that goes further?
Well, and that's where, you know, the investigators are saying, well, just build the code, and Apple has said it's going to take anywhere from 6 to 10 engineers, anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks to build code that's going to break very good security. So you have to build it first. It does not exist. But after you do, during the course of building a brand new system, when you build it, you're going to have copies of that system by those who are building it, who are making sure that it works, and so on. So the FBI is saying, well, just do away with it when you're done. We don't even want that, because, you know, we only want what might be on this phone, which they don't really have any indication that there's any data on there. The terrorists are dead. There's no immediate threat right now, is there? We have all this other data. So they're wanting them to do that, and they're saying it's just this one phone. But, you know, there may be 10 to 12 million other phones.
Opening Pandora's box.
Right, because now you have code, and you also have many other investigators who have locked phones right now. I think the current count is around 175 other phones that investigators and law enforcement has that says, oh, well, we're waiting to see, you know, if this case goes through, if they can compel Apple to create code that's going to break strong security, what's going to stop them from doing it again?
For other cases.
For other cases and for other operating systems. So now just think about the precedent. You are telling a private company that you have to create a tool that's going to undo the security that you spent so much time building into these phones that truly are extensions of our personal selves. And we're only getting more, you know, computerized types of things now. Can you imagine the security, you know, those of us out there in the security and privacy field, we're trying to tell engineers, build security in, build in privacy controls. Your car is going to have a lot of data about you. Things in your house are going to have a lot of data about you. And right now there's not a lot of good security. When we get them to the point where they're building security into these devices, now what's going to stop the investigators from saying, well, you have to go build now, whoever the manufacturer is, something to break this? And I think a very important thing is the United States is not the only country that builds security tools, that builds encryption, that builds other types of security. Other countries do too. So even if we build this, and if Apple's forced to do this, we can go get security tools from other countries. That means terrorists can get security tools from other countries. That's just a fact.
So it really would not do anything.
So your personal
anything.
stance with this is with Apple, correct? You want to make sure this doesn't happen?
Well, it's with technology, yeah. And I think, you know, as you can probably seen in the headlines, a lot of the other technology companies, because they know and understand
what's going on,
technology, you know, they can realize it's very emotional. This one phone, it's all we want. But the impact of that is it builds a precedent, and now they might be asked to create that. In the meantime, the ones who are hiding information are just going to use other really good security from other places. It's already started. I mean, there's one app, I can't remember the name of it, but already 100 million people have downloaded an encryption app that people are using on their phones now, so that even if somebody breaks into the security of the operating system,
there's another encryption.
It's going to be encrypted.
And of course,
anyway.
Tim Cook, from CEO of Apple, said he's going to fight this all the way to Supreme Court. So we'll have to stay tuned to see what happens.
All right. So obviously very complicated. So security very important, and you have all the information you need for security in your business or personal.
Yes, definitely. You can send me a question at privacyguidance.com. I also have privacyprofessor.com, and several different business sites. I try to help businesses to understand technology and how it impacts privacy and what can be done to protect privacy, because we're getting more and more breaches every day. We don't want less security. We want more, but we want to do things and have data like metadata that can point to evidence that can be helpful.
There it is. Wonderful.
Thank
for the
you very much.
explanation. Appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.